Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us today. So today we are going to continue our uh, excellent learning about agentic AI in the field of every. Like we initially started with agent builder, and then we moved to UiPath apps, and then now today we are going to learn more about agentic AI uh, in the test suite. Okay, so for uh, this we have our speaker Ankit and Sudarshan. So over to you, Ankit and Sudarshan. Do let us know if you face any issue, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Ankit Mehta, currently working as a automation technical lead in Accelerate Software Private Limited. I have been here for the last 5 years, and I have deeply involved in RP and AI here. So, Sudarshan, are you here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. This is Sudarshan. So currently I'm working as an automation engineer at Accelerate Software, and I'm having more than 4 years of experience in RPA and test automation. Thank you so much for joining this session. Over to you, Ankit.
Thanks, Sudarshan. So, before we move ahead with this session, I would like to set the agenda, what we are going to discuss about. So we will be discussing about a basic overview of UiPath test suite and the component of the test suite, how components are collaborating with each other to get the testing done efficiently. And now UiPath test suite has been moved to test cloud, so the agentic capability has also been added to it. So we will be discussing a basic overview of it, and we will be moving forward with agentic testing. What happens when we add the agentic AI capability to the testing and how we can achieve it. And then we will be moving forward with demonstrations of the practical sessions, and then we will have a question and answer session for right. So let's move forward. So, every one of us, right? So interacts with applications or systems on a daily basis, right? Even businesses are, are relying on applications, softwares, and they want to, deliver the seamless experiences to the users. Whether we talk about, applications like e-commerce, healthcare, banking systems, or any other applications, right? Businesses are heavily invested in it, but what happens when these applications are not working expectedly or they may crash, right? So let's take one example of e-commerce where a million of users are coming on a daily basis and they want to shop, and then further they will check out. But they are unable to check out due to some small bug. Or let's take another example of banking system where users are transacting using UPI, NFT, or maybe RTEs, right? But what happens, right? Due to untested API, is unable to transaction anything. So I just want to say, testing, is very important to, make ensure that everything runs smoothly and efficiently before it go live. We have seen, a small bug can interrupt our business operations, that may lead financial losses, and even it can create a poor user experiences for the business. So like as we have discussed, businesses are growing and heavily invested in application and software. They want to ensure that everything runs smoothly before it move to the production. Correct. But what happens, how we can ensure, how we can test those applications, right? And we can get so much confidence before it move to the production, right? Earlier we were using manual approaches, then we moved from manual approaches to traditional tools, and then we have moved to UiPath test suite, right? We are talking about UiPath test suite now. Manual approaches when we use, so it we found that it is taking lot of time efforts and even human efforts are involved heavily. And even traditional approaches were not up to the mark, and that required constant maintenance. So that's why UiPath test suite comes into the picture. And it has the ability to create a test cases, manage those test cases, and run those test cases efficiently, right? This test suite is basically designed to test your automations to your software. And now we are moving to the test cloud. We are also we can also test those applications now. So this is a basic overview why test suite came to the picture, what it can do for us, how it can make our work more easy, right? When the tool itself is creating the test cases for you, and it is making our life very easy, where human efforts are very less required. So let's talk about its component, how they work together to make your testing more efficiently. So first we talk about Studio. So Studio is basically your IDE platform where you develop your test cases, where you manage your test cases, where you publish your test cases, right? So once you develop your test cases or publish it to test cases to orchestrator, then you can manage all your test cases in orchestrator, and you can keep a track all of your executions. And also you can manage your execution with the help of CI/CD pipelines. The next is app test robots. So these they robot are basically dedicated test robots. They will ensure that every test cases are running smoothly and efficient. And the next and the most important part of the test suite, so that's a test manager. So inside the test manager, it gives you the ability to create your test cases, create your test sets, create your requirements, and it will also execute the test cases and will keep a proper track of your test cases. And even it can integrate with third party ALM tools, where you can suppose for your failed test cases, if you want to raise a ticket to the Jira, so it can be integrated with the Jira applications, and it will be just it's a one click, just click it and it will be creating a ticket for you. And the next one is agents. So now the agents has been added to the test cloud. So in the agents is basically everybody is aware about agents now, right? That has AI powered agents that has smart enough to get your task done more efficient. So we will be discussing more about it as we move forward. So the next, what is agentic testing, right? So we have seen in our previous session what is agentic testing. And so not agentic testing is basically about agents, how we can create our agents. So we are not going dive deep about how we can create agents, but we can see how we can collaborate it with our test suite. So agentic testing is basically as the name suggests, we have agentic AI capability, and we are incorporating it into the test suite. So with the AI powered agents, we are making our testing more smarter. So these agents, when we talk about this agentic AI, so it doesn't mean that we are talking about automations, but the thing we are it is about basically the interactions, where we are interacting with the agents, where we are writing it in a natural language, and your agent is smart enough to understand your context, what you are trying to say, and it will get your task done very effectively. So these agents, like we have discussed in the test suite, that it can that with the help of test suite you can create your test cases and you can manage your task, and it will be reducing your manual efforts. But when we talk about agents and when we add this agentic AI capability to the testing, so that agents are smart enough, they can create a test cases for you. right? So we are reducing human efforts here, but it doesn't mean that we are replacing human. We are still interacting, and agents are collaborating with you throughout the entire testing life cycle. So now how we can achieve it and how we can collaborate it, or incorporate into the suite, right? So there are two ways. Basically, the first one is out of the box agents, and the second one is your custom agents. The first out of the box agents mean that we already have agents in our test suite environment. So UiPath has already given us. We can directly go. We can start writing. Our whatever we want to do, whatever we have a requirement, we can get it done with the help of out of the box agents. But sometimes what happens, our out of the box agents, what we already have, cannot do what we are actually looking for. So we need our custom agents. So we can create our own custom agent with the help of agent builder. Now agents, right? So we have already seen how we can create our agents in our previous sessions, right? So now with the help of agent builder, right, what we can do, we can create our own agent. So this is basically a low code development tool. We can directly, write our queries, or like say we can provide system prompts, user prompts, context grounding, and so on. With the help of agent, we'll be able to easily understand what we are looking for, right? So with the help of agents, we can do multiple tasks in our testing. So it can make our testing more easy. So we have few capabilities here. So though we have a plenty of capability of agent, but we have listed few. So now let's talk about first. This is the autonomous decision making. So autonomous decision making in the sense that agents have the capability to take the decision itself, right? When we talk about generative AI, where it is able to generate your contents, but we are extending its capability, and to make a decision. So let's take an example, right, where you have a requirement to run your test cases overnight, and in the first thing of the morning you have to send the consolidated report to the business, right? So that is very tedious for a human, but agent can do for you. So agent can create a test cases, agent can execute those test cases, agent can evaluate how many failed and how many successful test cases are, right? So now further it can take a decision for the test cases, for which test cases it has to create a Jira ticket. So like for all failed test cases, it can create a Jira ticket for you. And in the first thing in the morning, it can create a consolidated report for you and send to the business as the way they are looking for. And the next one is goal oriented behavior. So the goal oriented behavior is basically, where it is just focusing on the goal itself, right? Where a company is upgrading its application every after 2 weeks, and it wants from the tester to test all critical scenarios of that application, right? So we can create our own custom agent such a way that it will only focus on the critical test cases rather than focusing on the low priority test cases. And the next one is adaptability. So adaptability is just like a self-healing agent where it is just adapting from all past, executions. So it will have the ability to look at all the past, history of execution and can take a action accordingly. And proactive actions. So proactive actions, like it is taking action in advance. So like, there is some application which is running on a daily basis, but that's the application behavior that it will become idle every after 10 minutes if we are not using it. So in that case, agent will be smart enough to handle that situation. So what it can do, it can refresh those applications before it move ahead with that automation, or it can re-log in that application so that it will not, create a issue or create a bug or create a ticket for you, but it will handle that scenario itself before it leads to an exception. So these are the basic capability we have, what agent can do for us. Okay, so the next one, like we have discussed, we had two approaches where we can create our own agents or where we have out of the box agents. So those out of the box agents can be, used with the help of Autopilot. So Autopilot is basically a assistant for us. With the help of Autopilot, we are making our testing more easy. So to discuss in more detail, I would like Sudarshan to explain about Autopilot. How does it work? So Sudarshan, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ankit, for setting up the stage. Now, Ankit has explained us what is Test Cloud and what are its components, and how agentic testing is going to empower the capabilities of Test Suite, right? Now we'll deep dive into what is Autopilot for Tester. Okay, so how many of you ever started testing and feel frustrated due to unclear requirements, poor detection, or writing manual test cases and endless rework, right? We know that this is a time consuming process, but at the same time it is error prone, right? But what if I told you that AI could assist you in every phase of testing, right from requirement gathering to designing, validations, and report generation? So that will save your time, reduce efforts, and improve the accuracy of your testing. This is what exactly Autopilot for Tester does. It is not a single tool or technology, but it is a rather set of AI powered capabilities that are designed to enhance the productivity of testers throughout the entire life cycle. Uh, with Autopilot, testers can engage in agentic test design, where it will help the testers in designing the test cases. It also help the testers in agentic test automation, where Autopilot will help the testers to automate their test cases. And last, we do have is agentic test management, where it will help the testers to generate the report to identify what are the failed cases and how we can fix those issues. So we'll deep dive into further these capabilities. Ankit, next slide. Yeah, as I told you that these capabilities are divided into three further sets. For first one is test design, where it will help the testers on test design side. So basically, we can check the quality of our requirement, right? So tester knows that when they started, and if they realize that the requirements were unclear or incomplete or ambiguous. So this is a common pain point, and all know that poorly defined requirements always leads to unclear test cases, unnecessary defects, and endless rework. But with Autopilot, AI can evaluate your requirements upfront, whether they are user stories, epics, or RPA description. It ensures that your requirements are clear, it has completeness, and it is a consistency. So this is the where we can check the evaluate the quality. Next, we do have is generate test for requirement. So manual tester knows the pain. They need to spend hours on hours writing the manual test cases. But with Autopilot, you can generate the manual test cases from your requirement. That will save your time and efforts, and it also ensures the comprehensive test coverage. Autopilot just not only generate the test for applications, but also it will help you generate the test for SAP transactions. So some of these use cases for test design. Then next we do have is test automation, where Autopilot will help the tester on UiPath Studio side. Let's say suppose you have created requirements in a test manager and also created the manual test cases. Now you want to automate those manual test cases, right? So by using Autopilot, you can just convert the manual test cases into automated one by just simple click. You can convert into the low coded automation if you are not familiar with the coding. If you are familiar with the coding, then you can make use of generate coded automations, right? Next we do have it generate coded API automation. So you can provide the API and what exactly you want from that API automation, and just give the English simple prompt, and then Autopilot will generate the coded API automation for you. Next we do have is generate expression. So basically it will help you to write the correct syntax or queries. Let's say suppose you're working on some complex VB query, and at that time you are not remember the correct syntax. You just need to provide the simple English natural language prompt, and then Autopilot will give you the correct complex query. Next capability we have is perform fuzzy verification. uh, Testers know that when they're working on testing project, our outcomes most of the times will be done binary, whether the particular output message is available, that means our test case is failed, and if not, that means your test case is failed, right? But what if you want to understand the emotions behind that message, and based on that you want to identify whether your test case is failed or not, right? Where there the perform fuzzy prediction comes into picture, it will use the GenAI capabilities to understand the emotions behind that particular message, and based on that it will identify whether that particular test case has failed or not. Next we do have is search UiPath documentation, where you can search any details from your project in UiPath Studio. So these are some of the capabilities related to UiPath Studio. Next capability we do have is test management, where it will help you to generate the test insight report. We all know that how important is test insight report, right? It will give the details what are the test cases has failed, but traditional reports only shows what is failed, but it never shows why it has failed, right? But here it comes the AI powered test insight report, where it will analyze your real time data, and based on that it will provide you details like what are the test cases has failed and why it has failed. So it will provide you the recommendation how you can fix those issues. Then next we do have is import manual test cases. uh, some of you might know that they used to write the manual test cases into Excel file, but with this functionality you can import those uh, uh, test cases written in Excel file, and then it will convert those test cases into the manual test cases in test manager. So some of these capabilities are already built, and the first one, that blue ones, are yet to be released in next couple of months. The first one is detect absolute test. uh, let's say suppose there is some change in requirement. So and because of that it might happen that some of the test cases needs to be updated, or some test cases are missing, or it might happen that some test cases are not relevant in future. But as you know that you are working on thousand on thousand test cases, and it is very difficult to find out these test cases. But with this functionality, Autopilot will automatically identify those test cases, and it will save your time. And the next functionality we have is to self-heal test automation. When you are working with application testing, you know that if there is a small change in UI and it leads to the test case failure, right? But with the help of self-heal test automation, Autopilot can automatically identify those change UI element, and based on that it will update the selector. So it will reduce your test case failure by 80%. So we have seen these are capabilities we do have. Now we will see how we can use these capabilities in real time. So Ankit, I'll share my screen. So okay, so these are the AI agents we are going to see. The first four the AI agents I'll show you on test manager side, and last four are we will see in studio side that will Ankit show us. So I'll share my screen. Ankit, could you please stop sharing? Actually, I'm not able to share the screen. Yeah, now I can share. Yeah, is my screen visible? Hello?
Yes, Sudarshan.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, okay, yeah. Okay, to see the capabilities on test manager site, first we need to go to the cloud.uipath.com, and then we need to open the test manager. Okay, so this is the home page of Test Manager. Before working on any test project, first we need to create test project, right? So to do that, just click on this create new project and provide the name of your project, prefix and description about the project, and just click on this create button and it will create project for you. Or it may happen that you have project built in other tenant or different platform, and you just want to import that tmh packet. For that you can make use of this import project button, and then you can add your tmh package, and you can select what project you need to do. For you want to create new project or you want to use existing project, and just click on import, and then you can import your existing project. But for demo purpose, I have already created one demo project. So basically this is a application testing project where we are going to use UI bank application. I think most of us aware about that application. It is a dummy bank that will lend loans to the user. So I will open the project. Once you open the project, we can see this is the home page of our project, and on left hand side we can see we have different artifacts such as requirements, test cases, test sets, and execution. So as I told you that first capability we are going to see is how we can evaluate our requirements, right? To see that, just click on this requirement tab, and once you click on requirement tab, the first step is you need to add the requirements, right? To add the requirement, just click on this create requirement button and provide the name for the requirement, a detailed description about that particular requirement, and give the label, and just click on create button. So this is the first way. And another way is that you can make use of third-party ALM tools such as Jira, where you can integrate your project with Jira application, and you can directly sync requirement from there to this. Okay. Okay. So the for demo purpose, we are going to evaluate the quality for this upload loan paper description. You can see on high level, this is the name of the requirement, and it is a detailed description about it. And in on high level, many of you are aware that when we apply for any loans, we need to provide some documents to check our eligibility. So this is all about this requirement, and to check whether this requirement is clear or complete, we need to click on this evaluate quality button. Once you click on that button, then Autopilot will ask you to provide some additional document that has more context about your requirements. This is an optional step, but if you have the additional document, you always provide this so that it will evaluate better. For demo purpose, I'm going with this comply checklist and security guidelines, and I'll hit on the next button. Once you click on next button, then your autopilot will ask you to provide some instruction. I mean, what aspect of requirement you want to evaluate, right? So for that, we can make use of prompt. So these are some pre-built prompt. You can see we do have is multifaceted audit where it will analyze our requirement from many different perspectives. Then we do have is performance evaluation where it will analyze the requirement based on performance related aspect, and then we have security assessment for security related aspect. So these are some of the pre-built custom prompts. And if you want to see how these prompts are designed, you can go to this open prompt library and you can see all the pre-built prompt and how they are designed. So for demo purpose, we are going with this default prompt, and once you give the prompt, you can just click on this evaluate quality button. Once you click on this button, then Autopilot will analyze all your details such as the requirement name, description of the requirement, the additional document you have provided, and what instructions have you given on the prompt side, right? So now as you can see that Autopilot has given us some suggestion for our requirement. You can open anything like I can you can see that Autopilot has given the name for suggestion, and it also provided the reason behind it, why it think it should be the enhancement or suggestion. So, and you can check all these suggestion, and let's say suppose you are not satisfied all of these suggestion, you can always option of regenerate, where you can again go to that page and provide some additional documents, and again provide you the instruction and what aspect of your you want to evaluate. Let's say suppose I want to evaluate for performance evaluation, right? So then it will give you the pre-built prompt and just hit on regenerate button. Now then Autopilot again reevaluate all these details, and based on that it will give you the suggestions or enhancement. Generally it will takes around 30 to 40 seconds to give you the suggestions or enhancement. Now you can see that it has given us the new suggestion or enhancement based on our instruction, that is performance, right? So you can see if you feel that okay, so this is the enhancement or requirement that need clarification from a business analyst or user, you can click on this add to requirement button, and you can see that that particular enhancements has been added to your requirement. And you can always go back to that page where you have generated, and once you click on this add to requirement button, the status of that particular enhancement will change to in work. And once you got clarification on that particular enhancement, you can always change status to done so that you can have track of all these suggestions. Okay. And one more functionality is that it may happen that okay, you are satisfied with this but you want more suggestion, then you can click on the suggest more button, and then Autopilot will give you the more suggestion about this process. So this is the first capability, how you can generate evaluate your requirement. So our next capability is how you can generate the manual test cases from the requirement, right? So for that I'm going to use the submit loan request requirement, and for demo purpose I have already evaluated this, and this is the correct and clear requirement. Okay, so to generate the manual test cases, we just need to click on the generate test button, and once you click on that, then it will ask you to provide some additional document, and if you have you can provide, if you not, there is no issue with that, and just click on next button. And then Autopilot will ask you to provide the instruction, I mean what kind of test cases you want to generate. For that again we do have some already pre-built prompts, we can make use of this, like end-to-end flow verification or rapid test idea or validity to screen testing. Okay, so for this we'll going with validity to scenario testing, and just click on generate test. So now then Autopilot will generate the test cases for us. So basically it will use LLM model and that will analyze our uh, okay, so I think our all our test cases has covered. I'll show you the already built test cases. Just a minute. Yeah, yeah. You can see these are the test cases that have been generated by the Autopilot. And if you see any of the test cases, you can see that it has given the name for the test case and also provided the step-by-step detailed description about your test cases. If you think that okay, this is the correct test case and you want to create that, you can just select those test cases you want to be automated and just click on this create test button, and then Autopilot will create those test cases for you. You can see that Autopilot has just created all of these test cases. I will open one of the test cases for you. Yeah, you can see that the test cases has been added to the test cases artifact, and you can see the name of the particular test case. And if you go to the manual steps, then we can see the all the manual steps have been added here. Okay, so this is the second capability where you can generate the test from the requirement. Now, let's say suppose you have evaluate the requirements, generated the manual test cases, then go to the studio and you have created the automated test cases. And you have also created the test set and you have executed all of your test sets. Now, next main important thing is to generate the insight report where you need to find out what are the test cases as well, right? To generate the test insight report, just go to this execution tab and you can see all of the test execution result you have executed. And to generate the test insight report, just click on the generate insight button. And here you can generate the insight test report for selected test result, or you can generate it for last 7 days execution result, or 15 days, or 30 days. But for demo purpose, we'll go with selected test execution result. So once you click on it, then it will analyze all your logs and details, and based on that, it will generate the uh, test insight report. So it will take some time based on your how many execution result do you have and how many logs do you have. Till it get processed, we will see next capability, that is search with Autopilot. Okay. Okay, so as I told you at the time of explaining the capabilities, let's say suppose you are working on thousands test cases and you want to find any details about that. Uh, and if you are not aware what exactly you want to search here, you can make use of this suggestion. Let's say I want to find let's say suppose I want to find all the tests that never been executed. I will just select the prompt and just hit on this enter button, and then Autopilot will analyze all the details from the artifact, and based on that it will give you the details for this particular query. As you can see that these are the 5 test cases that never been executed. So this is how you can make use of this search with Autopilot functionality to search any details in your test manager project. Okay, let me see whether the insight report has generated or not. Yeah, you can see that our test insight report has generated. And if you see on high level, it will give you the overview, like what is the overall failure rate of your test execution report. You can see it is a 16.17%. Then it will give you the what is the low severity errors. Then it will also show you what are the top failing tests, what are the common errors and error pattern in those test failures. And it also give you the recommendation how we can fix those issues. Okay, so this is all about generate test insight report. So this is all about how we can utilize Autopilot on test manager side. Now, Ankit will show us how we can make use of these capabilities on UiPath Studio side. Over to you, Ankit.
Thank you, Sudarshan, for this detailed explanation about how we can work with Autopilot and can make our work more easy. Let me share my screen quickly. Is my screen up?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it
available.
is.
Okay. So, guys, we have seen how Sudarshan had shown how we can create our test cases in our test manager and how we can evaluate the requirements in test manager, right? So, whatever the test cases we have created in test manager, now we have to develop those test cases in Studio. So what we have to do, so before working with this test suite framework, what you have to do, you have to ensure that we have our testing.activities installed by the managed packages. So once these testing activities have been installed, so this test manager option will be, enabled in that ribbon section. You have to go to test manager settings, and you have to give the path of your test manager here, and you have to connect, so it will show connected. And if you can if you want to give project, you can give it. Otherwise it will show for the test cases from all projects. I have given for now. I'll just make it cancel, and once the connection has been established, you have to go to test explorer, and here we should be visible here. Okay, so as I have refreshed, we can see it is visible, the test cases in the test explorer. So, and you can see that red icon here. So what does it mean? That these test cases were created with the help of Autopilot. So now what you can do, you have to develop those test cases. So to develop those test cases, you have two options. Either you can go with generate test case with Autopilot. It means you can create a low code automation like you have been doing in RPA, or you can go with coded test case automation if you have a good coding experience, or if you are interested in doing coding, so you can go with it. So let's click on it with coded first, and then we can see a low code as well. So once you click on that coded automation, so Autopilot, will start generating the code for you, and it will write a code for you in your studio. So that is, making our human life very easy, right? So human efforts is very less likely required now. So it is taking some moment. So now we can see, right? So it has written the code for you, correct? Right. So before moving it, to ahead, so what you have to do, you have to quickly check it, the code is expected or not, what Autopilot has given it is up to the mark. And also what you can do, you can go to the Autopilot section here. So in this panel, you can see we have three issues. So you can work on these three issues first, then you can go with that code. So once click on the get suggestion, so it will say where we have some issues, right? So if we haven't used new keywords, so we have another error because of UI automation field with a valid input class so we have many issues, right? So we have to resolve this issue first, then we can go with it. So I have one ready workflow for you. So I had already worked, and where I worked on these issues, and we can see what all changes I had done, right? So I will. So once the code is ready, what you have to do, you just click on that run file. And before that, I'll just uh, okay. So before running it, it will just compiling that every issues have been resolved, or do we have any issues or something like that. So it will check it and then it will run it. So as you can see, it is filling all the information. So we have to understand where this information is coming from, right? So Darshan has already shown in the manual steps. All manual steps, what were added in that manual steps, based on that autopilot will be creating a code for you. So now you can see that the code has been executed successfully, and even you can see here we have a message. And if you come back to the studio and see the output, so the expression says true. So it is validating that it has been these values, let me show you one second. So this congrats, this should be matched with the congress to test, right? So this is a successful criteria for our testing, so and it has been passed, right? So let me close this browser. And so now we have seen this, correct? So the same way, if I come to test explorer, let's take another generate test case with autopilot. So this is our low code automations. So it will generate the activities for you. So let's see that. So it is unable to generate more activities. Only one activity has been generated. But anyway, uh, let me open one. Okay. So you can see how many activities there. So these activities based on our data which we had in our manual steps, the same way it had created the activity. So if you say uh, we were filling some information, right? So you can see that we it has added type into the activity, correct? So what we have to do once this activity has been created, so we have to work on the issues as we were working in coded automation. So the quick issues I tell you, what smaller issue we can face. So that is, if you go to properties, right, of this activity, because this is a modern activities, right? And by default what it will do, it will always close. So for each activities, the autopilot has given us the top selector, right, top level selector. So for every activity, if you see, we have attached browser as well, right? So by default it is closing each browser and then it will reopen it. So you have to work on it so it is not reopen again and again. So once you have done this or resolve this minor issue, you are good to go. Just click it here. There is some issue it seems. It is trying again and again. Okay, I'll just try it once more. There is some issue happening here, it seems. Okay. Okay, let me close. So the same way, right? I hope you guys understood what Autopilot is actually doing, what we have to do. We have to work on these minor issues to get our testing done efficiently. So the issue can take some time. I would like to, move forward. And if you guys have any issues, we can connect it later on that. And the next one I would like to show, we have a test case YAML file where, so sometimes what happens when we are working with a client and we are requesting data to the client, but that it is getting delayed and you are unable to test, right? So what you can do in that case, you can generate your own data. So maybe the Excel file or the data is coming where from, the data is too large and you cannot generate your own. So in that case, Autopilot can help you. So maybe you have 1,000 columns and you cannot write it, and maybe you have a thousands or lakhs of uh, rows, right? So but Autopilot can help you in that case. So you have to click on generate with Autopilot, and it will help you to generate it. So you just have to write in a natural language and it will understand your context and it will give you the data what you are looking for. And before doing that, you have to ensure all columns, whether your data is coming from the Excel file, from the database, or from any other sources. Yeah, you have to write the columns name in that argument section. So it will check, okay, these arguments are already available, so it will be generating the data for you. If no argument, so it will prompt you that argument needs to be there. Okay, so I'll just write it in natural language. Suppose you can write generate test data for me. I'm just writing this and let's see whether it is able to generate the test data for us or not. Okay, so I had given a prompt to Autopilot generate a test data for me, and we can see how it is generating the data for us. So to give or to get a complete data or efficient data for our work, what we have to give a prompt in a such a way so that it can understand and can get a data as you are looking for. So I just give you know a detail, generate a test data for a country of India, suppose, where people having age greater than 50 and having loan greater than 1 lakh. So I have given more detail to it. Let's see whether it can give us the data we are looking for or not. So now you can see, right, how the data looks like. Earlier the data were looking like cluttered, so now the data is looking very sophisticated. So if you are satisfied, you can import. Otherwise, what you can do, you can regenerate the data at any time. Okay, if you're satisfied, just click import and the data will be added to your test case automation. Okay, so now I have this YAML. Inside my YAML, I have one test cases like synthetic data. So what I am doing in this, I am just printing the data whatever it is generated from the Autopilot. I am not doing anything here, but we can use as per our requirements. And if you come to the test explorer, if you come to the test case, we have a 10. So 10 in the sense we have added 10 rows for this data. You can see that here, right? So now what we are going to do, we are going back to that test case and we are going to run this. Is it done? Okay, 1 second. So now you can see a boat is coming up and down, right? So what it is doing in the back end, it will execute one row and it will execute another row. So likewise, it is doing for 10 rows, which we have added recently. So if you come back to test explorer, so you can see that green tick mark. So what it mean that this has been executed successfully. Okay. So and the next one we would like to show, like we have seen how, in the previous videos or in the previous sessions we have seen how we can create our own agents. And in this session, we have seen how we can use out of the box agent to make our testing more easy, right? But what happens, right, when we collaborate these two agents into our test manager or test suite, right? So let's watch one video, 1 second.
Ankit, there is no audio. Can you please share audio also?
1 second. It is okay. Okay, when we're doing this, it's not a mm, it's- okay.
Okay, Ankit, maybe you can give your voiceover explaining it, maybe just
Okay.
quickly.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'll just okay, I'll just so okay, we can hear now. Mm.
Okay. If you
We are
try to
not
share
able to
screen
hear.
again, maybe we can get an option to just share also audio.
You are not able to hear still?
No.
Okay, but I'm able to hear. Okay.
You can share the screen again. There is an option to share the audio also.
Okay. Where exactly?
At the
I,
Zoom when you are sharing the screen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Over there.
Ankit, please stop sharing and again reshare the screen. That time you'll get the option.
okay. Got it. Now,
Now let me
so
show you.
are you able to hear now?
Yeah.
Yes, Ankit.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
how we are
Thank you, guys.
bringing these two. Now let me show you how we are bringing these two big dimensions together. Our out-of-the-box AI capabilities and the custom AI agents you are building. Now here's a sneak peek at what's next. Let's return to Test Manager. Now soon you will be able to prompt Autopilot in Test Manager, just as you do in the assistant. For instance, you could ask, hey, I'm currently testing the UiPath application and I need help finding test data in that application. Can you help me? Autopilot will process your requests, identify any relevant agents, and suggests the one that fits the task. You then enter your query, hit search, and in just a few seconds, Autopilot will retrieve the data you need. So this means you will be able to fully leverage all the agents you have built directly within Test Manager. But it doesn't stop there. You can ask Autopilot to handle even more complex tasks. For example, you could say, hey, I need to find all requirements newly added in the last sprint that are assigned to me and generate automated test cases for them. Can you please help me? Autopilot will then break this request into subtasks, starting by identifying newly created requirements from the most recent sprint. Now in this case, we tell Autopilot to fetch the latest sprint. It's S152 in that case. And then Autopilot handles the rest. Autopilot then searches the database and after a few seconds identifies, as you can see here, 4 requirements that are untested and are assigned to the sprint S152. Now Autopilot always suggests the next steps. And as you can see here, recommends to generate tests for each requirement, one at a time, to ensure we focus thoroughly on each one. And asks, hey, which one would you like to start with? Well, let's start with the requirement called calculate loan rate and give it a go. Autopilot processes the requests again and then identifies an agent that can handle that task. Now in this case, it suggests our built-in test generation agent. Now from there, you simply click generate tests and Autopilot guides you through the process. As you've seen before, you can add additional documents and provide specific instructions such as generate the top 5 straight-through tests, no need for edge cases or boundary tests, just a quick sanity check. Once you give it a go, Autopilot gets to work generating the tests. You can even close the panel and continue working on other tasks while Autopilot completes the process. Now once Autopilot completes the process, it notifies you and prompts you to review the generated tests. You will see the 5 test cases it created and you can, as you've seen before, expand each one to review the details. Now after your review, simply select the test cases you want to keep and then hit create. Autopilot will then confirm the creation of the test cases, each, as you can see here, with its unique ID. Next, let's move forward and tell Autopilot to automate the first test case. Autopilot will ask if there's already a project in Studio for this application. Well, we will confirm by asking, yes, but can you automate the test case directly from Test Manager? Autopilot then asks whether we would like to provide a URL for that application or indicate the application on the screen. Now, in this case, we inform Autopilot that the application can be found at uibank.uipath.com. Autopilot then evaluates the automation options. And once done, informs us that, yeah, a built-in agent is available for that task, our test automation agent. That immediately starts converting the manual test case into an automated test case, using all the information we have already provided. And this test automation agent is a built-in agent. It's a UiPath first-party agent, so to say. Now, we can expand the widget to monitor the test steps that Autopilot is automating. And depending on the number of steps, this might take some time. But yeah, once complete, Autopilot notifies us that the test automation has been successfully finished. From here, we can choose to either open the automated test case in Studio or run the test directly from Test Manager. Now, if you're unsure about the next step, you can always ask Autopilot. For example, let's ask, what do you recommend I do next? Now, in that case, Autopilot responds with a breakdown of your options and lets you choose to run the automated test case. Now, that's what we want to do. So we click on it and Autopilot initializes the test execution. And once done, Autopilot starts executing the test case by launching the application and performing the specified test actions by processing the data through the application as outlined in the test case we code-generated with Autopilot just a few moments ago. Now, once the execution is complete, Autopilot asks if we would like to load the test cases into Studio Web as the next step. Now, that sounds like a good idea, so let's proceed by saying, yeah, sure, load all 5 test cases into the Studio Web project called UiBank and open Studio Web in another window. Autopilot will then load the test cases into Studio, and once the process is complete, it provides the option to open the tests in Studio. So by clicking on this button, we will then be redirected to the UiBank project here in Studio, where we will find all 5 test cases we code-generated with Autopilot, including the one we just automated. And here in the designer panel, we can see the test case we just automated with Autopilot. We see the corresponding automation. I mean, how cool is that? Now from there, you can either proceed with automating the remaining test cases, or you just return where you left off. And that's it. That's how we bring agentic testing to life here at UiPath. That's where built-in AI meets your customer AI. Thank you so much.
So, guys, this is how we are integrating with autopilots and agents, which we have developed using Agent Builder, and we can add both capabilities into our test manager and can our testing done more efficiently. So this is I think we are good with that session. So if anybody has any questions related to this, please let us know.
Thank you, Ankit and Sudarshan, for a wonderful session about test suite integration with the agentic AI integration into test suite. So, guys, you can feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions. You are allowed to uh, drop your questions into chat as well. We'll try to answer every very questions. Any questions, any query, you may ask something about agentic AI. Also, we'll try to answer as much as we can. I see the audience is quite silent today. So maybe that's due to the very detailed explanation Sudarshan and Ankit would have given. But yeah, feel free to ask your questions. So we have been through 3 sessions and next week we are going to have the final session of the series that's going to be about Maestro. So there we will see how to integrate agents into a larger long running processes. So get ready for that, get yourself registered for it, and hope to see you in that session as well.
Yeah. So hi, Ankit. So am I audible?
Yeah, Parth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
So I have a test case like in Excel, like log into SAP. Okay, that is the only line I have. So now, how it will test that? Like log into SAP means will it launch it and it will log, or do we need to input like launch SAP? Uh, pro- Prompt to username like that we need to prepare, or if you give it like this, like will it understand to launch it, what are the steps we missed, or we need to explain it in detail.
So Partha, what would I like to say? For SAP, we have different agents in Autopilot itself, right?
Hmm.
So if you want to test SAP automations, right, that Autopilot has the capability to do that. Right.
Hmm.
So we have a step we haven't shown you because of a time constraint, but we can connect on it because also we do not have SAP access as well to show right away. But definitely you can do that with
No, not
Autopilot.
only the
Yes.
SAP. I'm just asking, like log into any web application or any
Yes, yes, definitely. Yes, it will
browser
do
or
that.
application. So will it understand and it will launch that application and log in, or do we need to mention that in detail?
No, see, if you are generating the test cases through Autopilot,
Hmm.
so in the manual steps like Sudarshan has shown, so you have to verify what you are going to do, right? So, and if you are not satisfied with that, you can always regenerate the test cases from Autopilot. If you are satisfied, whatever the steps written in manual steps, it will be creating the code for you, and it will be launching your SAP application login and whatever you are looking for, it will be doing that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So
Yep.
mostly we
Thanks,
used
Partha.
to automate the SAP mainframe and web applications. So if we have standard test cases for those, so no need to again create the duplicate. So we can use the
Uh,
same test
so
cases for all the
yes.
applications, or how?
No, see, that depends, right? So suppose if you have written all the test cases in Excel itself, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what you can do, you can import the Excel file to test
Hmm.
manager. You don't need to create one by one. You directly import it to the test manager, and it will be able to understand. The autopilot will create the test cases accordingly based on your Excel data, and it will generate the test cases for you, and then you can, once you develop the code, you are good to go with any applications.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks,
Thanks.
Partha. Yeah, thanks.
I have a question. Um, what if I need to test agents? Is
uh,
that possible to create like a test case to test agents?
Sorry, Laura, I didn't understand your question.
Okay, let's say that I have an AI agent and I want to test that agent and validate whether the response is accurate, sorry. So will this capability, this Gen AI capability for test automation help me to create something like that?
Yes, yes, definitely, Laura, it can do that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so with the help of autopilot itself, you can do, and even in the video itself we have seen how we can create our test cases, right? And it can do for you definitely.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Also, Laura, you can test your agents or whatever output it's creating through evaluation set into agent builder. So that evaluation set is designed for evaluating the result the agents are generating. So you can cross verify or manually, or you can also give another LLM to verify the output if it is up to the mark or not.
Okay, so I can connect the LLM to the
Evaluation
evaluation
set.
set and
Yes,
validate. Got it.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's would be the more appropriate approach to test agents. So
Yep.
this test suite is mainly for automation testing, like any software testing. For agent testing, you can leverage the evaluation set.
Yeah, but
Okay. Okay.
Ashok,
Thank
I think within the test cloud, we are moving to applications testing as well. I think we have added the agents as well.
Okay,
So picture will clear more once we have the means once we have that test cloud access and everything in place. So but in the component we can say the agents have been added. So let's see
okay.
further.
Maybe that's upcoming feature we have.
Yes.
So for now,
you.
we are
Okay, that
still
sounds
looking for. Yeah.
interesting. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Okay. So all right. If we don't have many questions, we can close for now. You can always connect with Ankit, Sudarshan, or anyone through LinkedIn or UiPath forum as well. We are happy to help. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining in, and hope to see you in the next session. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank